Welcome back. It is me and not Elle. We have a special guest though.
Yep.
Announce yourself.
I am Ash from Girls in the Fast Lane. It's good to be here. Sorry, Elle.
Yes. Sorry, Elle, I've taken your place. Yes, for those that don't know, Ash is a longtime friend of Paddock 43.
Yeah.
And I would say, as we spoke about before, one of the OG F1 content creators in Australia.
Yeah, I've been around for a hot minute now. It's been like 5 years, which is crazy.
Crazy. Where does the time go?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But like it's half a decade and I keep thinking about that.
Oh my gosh, true. True, so true. But we're obviously very lucky because we've become friends, I don't know, like 2 years ago maybe?
Yeah.
Three. Oh gosh, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But yes, Elle is away. Elle is in South Africa for those of you that are wondering. I was going to say she's not with us. She's not with us today. And I thought I was actually going to record on my own and then I thought, you know what? I want to bring Ash in because, I mean, obviously I asked you and you said yes. You're not here against your will.
I'll blink twice if I need help.
Yeah. But it is Monday, 30th of March. We are off the back of Japan GP.
Yeah. I can't believe, it's nice to have a race that is at a reasonable time and I'm not sleep deprived today. That is so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been an interesting season so far. It
has been a very interesting season. We are 3 races in. And, well, we're about to go into a 5-week break, I think it is.
Yeah.
Next race is Miami GP, which is the second weekend of May. But yes, Japan yesterday, full transparency, I was very upset because I was flying home at the time of the race. So when I asked my mum, my sister got married over the weekend. My mum booked the flights.
Congratulations.
Yes, very exciting. And I was like, wait a second, what time is our flight? 4:30. The race was supposed to start at 4, but then it started at 4:10 because there was an issue with the barriers or something.
Yeah, from a support race. I think one of the Porsches went up and over up into the barriers. So it was pretty insane.
Terrifying. And obviously there was a very scary crash during the race, which we will touch on. But yes, I was very upset about the fact that I was like the 1 out of 4 times that we get to watch a live race and I don't get to watch it. And I was like, I'm not going to look at the scores until I land. And then I turned my phone on and literally popped up, Kimi Antonelli wins.
Yeah, that honestly, the fact that he's leading the World Championship, it makes me so happy. I can't believe that a little baby 19-year-old is like dominating the season so far.
That wasn't even able to celebrate his win with champagne.
Yeah, it was like sparkling rose water, which is like crazy.
So that's what it was. They were saying like sparkling rose water.
Yeah, I think that's what they said it was.
That would have been nice on the eyes.
Yeah, I mean, better than champagne.
Oh, champagne in the eyes is probably like the worst feeling.
Yeah, apparently it stings a lot.
It
I
does.
wouldn't know, but I will have to test it.
No, it's awful. It is absolutely awful. But yes, Kimi Antonelli won, which is so exciting and also just crazy, particularly for George Russell.
Yeah, I feel like George is like, yeah, I'm so happy for you. And like inside is just wants to murder him. But also like he didn't just win. He won by like 15 seconds which is nuts. They were like, just bring it home. And he's like, yep, puts in another fastest lap. And you're like, okay.
I mean, you never know what can happen though. But because he won 2 weeks ago in China.
Yeah.
And similar, I think he was winning by maybe like 14 seconds or something. And then at one point he like almost on his last like lost a bit of traction or something. I was like, Kimi, oh no. But yeah, I do think that George Russell, this is going to be very interesting to see what happens throughout the season. I think he is smiling but seething in his pants and going.
Yeah, there was even like a weird moment on the radio yesterday where he was like, oh, like maybe we should swap. And you're like, what are you doing? It's how it happened. It's just because of the safety car. But
of course.
You can't ask somebody to swap. It's giving McLaren last year.
That's what I initially thought of.
Yeah.
That's literally what I thought of. The only issue is I guess the gap between Kimi and George is bigger in terms of years driving in F1 versus Lando and Oscar. Granted, it's still a big gap, but look, I think as well that, and granted, we're only 3 races into the season, but George has come into this season knowing how well the Mercedes is performing and thinking I might have the championship in the bag.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he thought it was going to be an easy ride home, whereas it's just Kimi's going to take it to him every single race and has proven that for the last 3 races, really. I can't remember Australia anymore.
Yeah, because, well, George won Australia.
Yeah, but he was podium?
Yeah, Kimi was podium. Yep.
So, yeah, I just don't think it's going to – I think it's going to be, McLaren 2.0, which it's going to – at least it'll make it interesting.
It will. I think the dynamic as well with Toto Wolff and how he acts on this, because obviously Kimi is like the child protege. And there was even a comment that Toto Wolff made over the weekend where he said, I don't know if you heard it, but he said something about that this is the first time he's witnessing something about like natural talent. And also it's like, I mean, you did have Lewis.
Yeah.
And granted, like obviously Max Verstappen as well. You know, I mean, I guess like he doesn't care that much for Max Verstappen, but like you have to sort of look at it that way. But then imagine George Russell as well sitting there just being like, well, I'm not naturally gifted.
Yeah, I think also like Toto Wolff talked such a big game last year. And I know I keep bringing it back to McLaren, but like when McLaren weren't choosing a number 1 driver, he was like, I would choose. And it's like, okay, Toto, who are you going to choose?
Yeah.
Tell me. Like,
tell me.
Because right now you've got your rookie outperforming your, veteran of the team. So what are you going to do there?
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that's the whole reason as well why they brought Kimi into this seat, is so then George could be, Air Bunny quotation marks if you're not watching, number 1 driver.
Yeah.
You know, remember there was all those rumors like, is Max Verstappen going to take that seat? And then imagine the drama between George and Max. Obviously that would have been just carnage. Granted, Max.
I'd be here for it though.
I know. I think we'd all be here for it. But then this is almost better. Like the fact that we're seeing Kimi, following his post-rookie year and already doing this well, I think it's like an absolute game changer.
Yeah, I think also his starts haven't been great. So, and the fact that he's fought back is really showing that he has racecraft. It's not just, he's gotten lucky. He's like put it on pole and like just smashed it out from the gate. No, like he's had to actually race for it. So I think that that's really showing his talent. Whereas, George kind of, when he loses momentum, he can't get back up there right now. So it's going to be interesting to see. It also makes me wonder who the car is tailored to, right?
Yeah.
Like we all know that they kind of have to pick a driving style. Yeah. And it's like, well, did you choose Kimi's?
I mean, yeah, that is interesting. I think as well, like one of the big things that we do have to consider is quali, and I think qualifying as a whole under these new 2026 regulations, because it sounds like a lot of the drivers are complaining a lot about the qualifying setup. I know Charles Leclerc has spoken a lot about it, saying that he was really disappointed after quali. He qualified P4, and he's saying that there's a difference with the driving that they're getting in a race versus what they're getting in quali, and that maybe it's not as fair. And it'll be interesting over the next 5 weeks. They're going to sort of look at the regulations and see what they can adjust or change. I read a statement from the FIA saying that you can't make any, we have no idea what they're going to say, so don't speculate on what's going to be said. So, okay, sure. Whatever.
Well, let us speculate.
Well, let us. So, obviously we are going to speculate. But yeah, so granted, Kimi qualified P1. And then also the other big thing that he said at the end of the race was, which I thought was very interesting, the safety car did play in his favour.
Yeah.
I think George Russell had pitted right before the safety car, which is also a big one, the lap before. I thought it was very sweet that when Kimi won, which I guess just shows his age, shows where he's at in his career, but also just shows how, I guess, his grace. The fact that he was like, yeah, I won. I guess I was lucky because of the safety car. Like, I think a lot of drivers have a bit of ego. Like, if that was George, I don't think he'd necessarily, one of the first things he'd say over the radio would be, oh, I also want to thank, I also think it was because of the safety car. Like,
Yeah, and this is what I really like about Kimi, and also what I kind of like about Lando Norris, because Lando Norris will always call out the luck that he has been given in a race, and so does Oscar. So there's a few that do it, but it shows that he's still like very much learning the ropes, right? Like no one else is going to attribute a race win to that. Which I think is also good. I hope he doesn't change. And I kind of hope he, in the way that like Lando really did it in his own way, I hope that if he ever does win that, he does that.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's interesting because I think every championship winner, you kind of have this moment where you're like, this can happen. And I feel like this, and we're only 3 races in, but I think that Suzuka has been a moment where people are going, this could happen for Kimi. Granted, I personally have been saying for a very long time that Kimi will be a championship winner.
Yeah.
But
I low-key does. I really do hope that he wins it this year.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a Mercedes, I hope it's him.
Everyone says that.
I don't know. George has kind of really rubbed people the wrong way, I think, in the last little while. There's a bit of arrogance that's going on, but yeah, I do hope it is Kimi.
Look, if Elle were here,
it would be iconic.
It would be iconic. I think if Elle were here as well, she would just be like, she would give us a 2-minute spiel on her anti-Georgeness. She's like, no, he sucks. Yeah, he's very arrogant, and it would be iconic. And also, it would be iconic, but I think it could happen.
Yeah. I think that also it's so early to tell.
It's so early to tell.
Yeah, not last year, but the year before, McLaren came back and won the championship from like pretty low.
Yeah.
They were 150. I think they had to climb 150 points or something crazy.
Yep.
So it's really early to tell. But I'm not a fan of these regulations. So
yeah, okay, we can touch on that. But interesting because you touched on McLaren, and I did want to touch a bit on McLaren. Snaps for our Oscar.
Yeah.
Right? He got on the podium. Not only did he finally start a race, he got on the podium.
Yeah.
Look, again, he kind of got shunted by the safety car.
Yeah, and that's where just luck comes into it.
Yeah.
And you can't do a lot. But if it wasn't for the safety car, I think he would have won.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Which means that McLaren do have the pace, and that I think that Oscar could take it to them if McLaren can just get their car on the grid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it was really nice to see as well, especially like over practice over the weekend, that McLaren was performing. Like, you know that I'm a Ferrari fan, and obviously we love to see a Ferrari on a podium. And China and Australia, it was very much a Mercedes Ferrari. And I was sitting there thinking, does that mean this entire season is just going to be a Mercedes Ferrari battle? So it's very nice to see that McLaren did well, and then the fact that Oscar started the race and was able to perform within the race. And yes, I think that had there not been that safety car, then he could have won the race.
Yeah.
Bummer as well, because I think that battle would have been interesting, like the battle of the top 3 without the safety car.
Yes.
Granted, there are also some fantastic battles happening. I know that the 2026 regulations are questionable.
Yeah.
But at least we are seeing some battles.
Yeah, I think that the battles are like I'm here
manufactured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if they can't drive their car on the limit, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that is kind of where my annoyance comes in, and also like when you're watching quali and they're like smashing it, and then the last sector they're like do so badly. You're like, okay, there is no point to this.
Yeah. Which is what Charles was saying.
Yeah, I think they need to they need to scrap it completely for quali, because it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Versus, I think in the race it kind of makes a little bit of sense, but I think we're getting too far into Formula E.
Yeah.
But I do like the battles, so I think it's I don't know. Maybe I just have to get over it.
It's so tricky because Elle and I have had these conversations a lot, and especially after Australia GP, it was very exciting. And granted that we have seen, like I just mentioned, exciting battles. But I do think it's tricky because it is taking away from traditional racing. Granted as well, it's like it's changing. The world of F1 is changing, and We have to accept that. But then exactly that same fear of it can't go too far down the Formula E route, which I don't think it will.
Yeah.
I do think that this break is coming at a really good time. I mean, I was reading something the other day where they had always said that this year, granted we are within the season, but it was going to be like there's also tests happening. So every 4 races they were going to review what was happening just to see if it's working, if it's not working. I think now with the fact that we've got this 5-week break, it's come at a good time for maybe most teams, bar Mercedes, for their detriment.
Yeah, I think everyone's getting quicker as well.
Yes.
So I think that is also the exciting thing. So I'm a little bit sad that we have to wait 5 weeks to see what's going to play out.
Same.
I'm low-key thinking about getting on a flight to Miami because, like,
yeah,
why not?
Why not? Oh, my gosh, feels.
But, yeah, it's an interesting one. It's very – I'm like, yeah, so on the fence about it all.
Same. I'm on the fence as well. I think I don't know what decisions they are going to make. I think as well the fact that, which kind of leads me to my next segment about Max Verstappen. Obviously Max is, especially after this weekend, he's not happy. And I think that personally I'm like, if things don't change, will Max Verstappen leave the sport? Because I could picture him throwing in the towel.
Yeah. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, great.
Maybe
Max,
not the C word.
Okay, no, that's fine. Max is a little bitch.
Yeah.
Like, love him. I think he's great, but he's the first person to win. So I find it really hard to take him seriously at times. I think that his biggest gripe is he's not winning. But when you start to break it down, like I do hear what he's saying, like it is becoming dangerous, especially like we'll talk about Ollie later, but with Ollie and then, but yeah, I mean, he's also kind of just in his villain era again, which I kind of love, like calling out reporters. And they're like, and then the reporter's like, well, we're going to boycott you. Do you not think that's his dream?
Yeah,
like,
he's like, please boycott me.
Yeah, like, great. No interviews today. What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Max will retire at the end of the year. I think Max has been thinking about retiring for a long time. And the fact that he couldn't get out of the team last year, really, I think his next step will be retirement. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was listening to one of the interviews he did post-race. Oh, was it post-race or post-quality? I can't remember, but they were asking him about how he feels, and they basically asked him flat out, are you going to retire? And he was saying that, which is really interesting when you look at it this way. He's like, you know, all the greatest athletes, they always say you need to love what you're doing, and I just don't love what I'm doing right now. He's like, I love working with the team, but I don't necessarily love what I'm doing, which also makes – granted, he's in a position where he can work the privilege of like working and doing what he loves. I'm like, most people's jobs all have mundane shit tasks and get the fuck over it. But at the same time, I do kind of understand what he's saying. And I guess he's in a position where he can just like fuck off. He also did mention he's like, you know, the things that I love, he's like, I love spending time with my family, which Elle and I have said for a long time, like especially now that he was always Penelope's stepdad, but now that he's become a father to his, you know, blood. Yeah. We were like, that's going to change him. And I do think it changed him a lot. And I think he does probably see the world a little bit differently. And I think that he's probably going, no, don't like it. Throw in the towel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that also he's just, I think that we forget that he was kind of forced into this career.
Yeah.
Like he was very much forced into this career. And like, yes, he did love it. And yes, he did dominate it for 4 years. We had max domination, which was sick.
Oh,
but I just, there is a lot of privilege when you say that things like that, you know, like you do have to kind of either grow up or get over it.
Yeah.
But I also wonder if he's just throwing his weight around, if he's trying to use like the weight behind his name and his family and who he is in the sport to start like to try and get the FIA and fans on side to change things. because that wouldn't surprise me. Like, there's so much strategic bullshit that goes on that we don't even like. We can see, we're
100%.
watching it play out, but we're not understanding the context of it.
Yep.
And I think that might be behind some of it.
Well, literally, that's exactly what I was thinking, is the fact that if Max Verstappen were to say, like, nah, I'm throwing in the towel, I'm not doing the sport. And granted that he's like he is the best driver of our generation, I think.
Yeah.
Of this current generation. But if he were to throw in the towel and not race in F1 anymore, maybe then that's enough of a reason for FIA to go, do we really want to lose a great? Like, is it?
Yeah.
No. And especially when you think about like the fandom that is behind Max, purely because obviously he is such a skilled driver. He's built this fandom, exactly what you're saying, the 4-year domination. Like,
yeah, they literally went back to Zandvoort for Max. Like, there was no other reason that track came on the calendar but for Max. So, yeah, I think I hope he is throwing his weight around, because I agree that something has to change. And I think no one's really called him out on it yet besides George. And I think George was only called him out because George was in a really nice spot of like leading the championship.
Wait, what did George say?
George was like, no one would be complaining. He said this like early on in the piece. I think maybe after Australia, he was like, no one would be complaining if they were winning races.
Yep.
So I think I think that the other drivers are kind of banded together and like they're all kind of solidified in what they're saying.
Yeah.
Which I think is really fascinating. Like, you hear it from Charles, you hear it. The only part, I don't know if I've heard anything from Lewis, but you've heard it from Lando, you've heard it from Oscar, you've heard it, from Ollie now, and
yeah, Ollie. Oh gosh, that again, like, I watched the race late, so I knew that everything was okay.
Yeah.
But even watching the race, I was like, the fact that they didn't. And granted, I understand that you're watching the coverage and, there's a lot of things happening, and also the fact that, I mean, the coverage that we watch is like everyone's like, George, Lando. Oh, Ollie's crashed. I don't think there was a message of Ollie is okay for a long time. I don't know if it was like that.
Yeah, I think that we kind of knew he was okay because he got up and walked, but then he was limping, so you're like,
and then he kind of fell as well at one point.
Yeah,
like
sat down. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think that was terrifying to see. I've never seen I think the first ever race I watched was Romain Grosjean.
Yeah,
crash.
Oh, gosh.
So like, even when to see him, like, every crash I've ever seen, they've always kind of just walked away.
Romain Grosjean was,
or like, he had help, but like they've all kind of, they've all kind of like, whereas he was like not, you could see very much that he wasn't okay.
Yeah.
And that also must be fucking terrifying.
Like, oh my gosh, me, like, sorry to bring being a parent into this, but like, I was like, his poor family watching that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, his poor family having to watch that and just thinking. And then I always think as well, it's like, there are some angles that you see the crash from and it just like, it doesn't look that fast. And then it's like, and then you think about how fast it is, and it was like 50 Gs.
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy.
Yeah. If anyone remembers like the 2021 Max Verstappen crash at Silverstone, where he
was this with
that was Monza.
That was Monza, yeah.
It was when he crashed into the barriers at Silverstone. And it was massive and it looked so fast and like had such a huge impact.
Yep.
And he was like groaning on the radio.
Yes, yep.
That was 51 Gs. So like, it's just it's a massive crash, especially when you're coming into a corner at that speed.
Yeah.
That's just not.
And also the fact that he didn't hit Pierre, because like Gasly was coming, he'd like spun out and then kind of ended up here, but then drove in front, like spun in front of Pierre Gasly and then went into the wall, which also I would have thought, like, thankfully that they didn't hit each other.
Yeah, the whole thing was terrifying.
Terrifying. I mean, I do think we have spoken about this, but like Zhou Guanyu's crash in, I can't remember where that was.
Silverstone as
well. In Silverstone, yeah. That crash was terrifying purely because at one point you're like, where is he? And the car is in between the barrier. You're like, where is he? At least we saw Ollie. But yeah, I think that is a big one with the regulations and like safety. I think especially safety coming into play.
But this is like, so we've had 3 races and we've had 3, I mean, I can't remember China now, but we've had 3 massive crashes.
Yeah.
I know, it's so much. There's so much in this brain. we've had we had Oscar at Australia crash on the formation lap. We had Max crash in quali in Australia. We've now had Ollie crash during a race. And I feel like there's been more.
Yeah, China. I'm trying to think China. Didn't something happen between Isaac Hadjar and Max?
Yeah, but not the same sort of crash with the super clipping. We've had 3 massive crashes with the super clipping. Like, what are we doing? Surely, why can't we look at this and go, that's dangerous and that's scary? And they shouldn't have to be thinking about that when they're driving at 330 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, especially when safety is such a big thing that comes into play. Maybe this is enough of a reason to, these next 5 weeks, something has to change.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. Yeah, is it? I think it's Monaco, isn't it, where they're changing the engines for Mercedes. So I wonder if any of that's going to come into play.
Yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I mean, like we've said, we have 5 weeks.
It'll be the longest 5 weeks of my life.
I know.
What do you mean?
I know. And
I
also,
just don't know why they didn't do a double header in Japan. Just chuck another race on.
Especially obviously we were like, we can't have another race in Australia because logistically it is impossible for AusGP to put on another race. I think I saw Adelaide being like, we'll do a race. We'll do a race. Like, they're trying so hard. It's like, no, stay in your corner.
Yeah, you got MotoGP now. Leave us alone.
Yeah, you got MotoGP. That's enough. But Suzuka, granted, I haven't been to Suzuka. But from my understanding, Suzuka is the closest city is about an hour away, which is in Nagoya.
Yeah.
Obviously, Suzuka circuit is its own circuit.
Yeah.
I don't know how much is built up around the circuit, but as in terms of hospitality suites and all of that. But I'm surely they could have done another one.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they could have done another one as well. And if you're going to do it anywhere, it should have been there.
Everyone loves Suzuka.
Yeah, I reckon half of Australia would have just jumped on a plane.
Literally. I would have. 1,000% I would have.
Yeah, I think that it's going. Yeah, I just don't understand why they didn't do it. I mean, I kind of thought the same about China, but I kind of understand China was a bit harder because it was a double header. But yeah, I think that they could have done a double in Japan. And I feel like, I mean, I've watched other seasons of F1 where they've replaced races. Yeah. Quite easily.
I don't remember any at the moment. I cannot remember.
I know that they've done.
I know when they replaced China.
I feel like they did Monza twice.
Yeah.
In a row at one point. And I know during COVID, that whole thing, they were racing at each track twice.
Yeah.
I remember I think Austria, they were at twice.
Yeah. With no one in the crowds. It was so strange. It was so strange.
But it's just why didn't we? Yeah, I feel like they could have pulled a circuit, not a street circuit, obviously, but some sort of circuit they could have pulled out of a hat.
I got really excited because there were these rumours about Imola, which I love Imola.
Me too.
And Portimao in Portugal.
If there is ever a race in Portugal, I am going to be.
You're there.
I'm there.
You're there.
We are on a plane when we are going.
I think, granted, obviously what is happening in the world aside.
Yeah.
Awful. But if we're looking at F1, I think that this break is coming at a really good time. I mean, selfishly for us, all the fans, we don't want a break. We just I don't know about you, but I've said this a million times. I felt like that winter break was eternal. It felt like it went on forever. Mm-hmm. And then AusGP came and then it was over way too fast. And like always, and then China, I think what we were talking about before, it would have been nicer if there was a break in between Australia and China, selfishly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. Yeah, it sucks that we have to wait 5 weeks, but I think that this break is coming at a really good time.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that I'm very glad that they're not racing in the Middle East currently with everything that's going on. I know a few people on teams and having conversations with them of what are you going to do if they do? Are you going to still go? Do you have the option of saying no? And a lot of them have the option of saying no, which I think is really great. But I think that the fact that they were even entertaining the idea because of the money that it brings into Formula One is dangerous. If you're, it just really says a lot about the capitalist society, the elitism of Formula One, that they're willing to put
people's lives
and lives over money. So And I mean, look, they are tracks that I do love. I just hate where they are at the moment and what's going on there. And I feel so sorry for everyone that's in that vicinity.
Yeah. Agreed. I think you couldn't have said it better. And I think it would have been stupid, just stupid and selfish and yuck if they had gone there. So yeah, I think that it's even though selfishly we wish there was racing, obviously we don't want racing there. And in the end, we want people to be safe.
Yeah.
We want people to be safe. And I think that it'll be a good time for teams to review what is going on with their cars and FIA to review what is happening with these 2026 regulations. But I think we can round this up. I know Miami, 5 weeks away. It's a long while away. We don't know what's going to happen in these 5 weeks about changes happening, but do you have any predictions or anything you would like to see?
Okay, I'm going to talk on pure vibes.
Okay.
Because I don't think we're well enough into a season to have a formulated opinion yet.
Agreed.
But I will say I think that we're going to see some upgrades with this 5-week gap. I think that we'll see some spicy upgrades being brought. If Ferrari could rock out that wing that we all saw in testing, that would be great.
Bring the rotating wing.
Yeah.
Also, they'll probably have a sick livery, hopefully.
Yeah.
I kind of
hope for a lot of sick livery. We should have some good liveries.
Miami,
Yeah. They always have some fun shit
They
going
always
on.
have fun ones. I always think about the blue cars.
Yeah.
It's like the best thing Ferrari ever did.
Yeah, blue and pink is so good. So good. I mean, Ferrari need to get on top of their liveries in general, no offense.
No.
It's
just make the car red. We don't need white on it. Make it red.
Like Lando was so real for being like, looks like somebody spilled yogurt on it. Yeah.
I was going to say something worse, but I'm not going to say it. Yeah.
But I think I think Lando's always done well there. So I think Lando we could start seeing, we know that a lot of the tracks in the first half are not his favorite. So we could see an upturn for Lando. Let's go rogue. I think Gasly did amazing this weekend.
Holding up my BWT water bottle. I was going to say, he's been doing, granted, only 3 races, but he's been doing very well.
Yeah, so let's hope for something spicy so that we can see some Gasly action. I think that he's been sort of forgotten about since he's left the Red Bull family. So just sending some love his way.
Yep, agreed. No, he's done very well.
Yeah, and then I think also I really want to see Isaac.
Oh my God, she just read my mind. I was going to say the same thing.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Because I feel bad for him. Like and I say this every year, and I've said this every year since I got into Formula One, is just like, keep your dirty hands off the little young ones, Red Bull.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with you? You destroy so many careers. Like, have we not realized? So I hope that he gets some good points. Just to like put himself back out there, you know?
Yeah. I think you read my mind with that. I mean, predictions, I'm not sure. I think it's a very good call with Lando. I think that Lando could do well, and hopefully that McLaren, I think in the end we want to see a fight. Yeah. Like we want to see, I don't think that we're going to, after what can change, I don't think that we are going to see this like Mercedes dominance. And as exciting as it is, we want to see a fight between the teams. So like a little bit more competition. So bring up McLaren. Come on, get in there. Join the battle. But yeah, Isaac Hadjar, he has so much potential, and I think he's also been a little bit unlucky.
Yeah.
Also, he didn't do great this weekend either, unfortunately. But I think he's got a lot of potential. I mean, he outqualified.
Yeah.
He outqualified Max.
Yeah, he did out-qualify Max. I think that but it also, then it comes down to like, is he just better at driving the car under the limit to get a better lap time than Max is? Because Max is always driving on the limit. So that makes me really question like, and that's why I understand where Max is coming from when he's like, I don't like these cars because we were so used to watching him drive
on the limit.
So.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
Watch this space. Well, we like to finish our episodes with a green flag and red flag.
Ooh.
Your green flag and your red flag of the week. So like in your last week, what's been the best thing and what's been the worst thing?
As in like in Formula One?
Just in general in your life. Or if you want, I can go first.
You go first.
So my red flag probably, Probably not being able to watch. Yes, not being able to watch the race live. That is my red flag. That was very frustrating.
Yeah.
But my green flag, my sister got married. It was just a really special, beautiful weekend celebrating my sister. It was a very intimate ceremony. Yeah, I didn't really want to complain about the weekend because it was very special. So not being able to watch a race.
Yeah. I think my red flag is going to be the new regs. I'm going to double down on that.
Yep.
And my green flag, I think, is going to be, I don't know, who did well this weekend?
But it can be anything from your week.
Oh, for my week? Oh,
yeah, as in it doesn't have to be F1. It can be anything.
Oh, so I went to Queensland for work, so that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. My first corporate big girl meeting.
Pat on the back.
But, yeah.
Nice. Well, Ash, thank you so much for joining us. I love having your knowledge, and if you guys don't know Ash, make sure you follow her.
Thank you.
Her handle is
Girls in the Fast Lane.
Girls in the Fast Lane. But thank you so much. And I always say I love the friendships that F1 has brought. They're very genuine friendships. And I love that we have this crazy shared interest that we sometimes get so worked up about. But we fucking love it.
Yeah, and that's honestly one of the best parts of Formula One is like meeting new people.
Yeah.
And I'm so lucky that like so many of my friends have come from Formula One or from events, and yeah, I'm so grateful to like know you guys, and thank you so much for having me.
Yay. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will have you on here again soon. Thanks, Ash.
Next time with Elle.
Yes, next time with Elle so she can talk about George Russell and how she doesn't like him. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.